Hi, this is Lisa with PowerHouse Writing High School. A question I often get asked by parents is, how do I grade my student for this course? And how much credit is this course worth? Well, first of all, this course is worth a half a credit on a transcript. If your student needs a full credit of composition on a transcript, you could simply have them go all the way through the workbook again and write 6 more of the essays that they've already written using a different graphic organizer. You'll see what I mean in the explanation video for how the course works. Also, you could opt to have on your transcript for your student a half credit of composition such as this, and then perhaps in another course they studied world history, and you could say world history with composition on that part of their transcript. So I had a student that had world history with composition, and they earned a full credit for world history plus an additional half credit for all the essays that I made that student write for the course. So that's how to include credit for a transcript. The way to grade this course specifically is, first of all, your student will need to complete assignments. So for example, in this lesson, the student is simply writing an introduction paragraph, a conclusion paragraph, and just the first sentence of each of the points in the body paragraph. That's an assignment that they will be given. There is an answer key at the back of the book. And of course, this is going to be rather subjective, but it's for practice in this part of it. I'll get to how to grade the essays in a minute. So first, they have completed their assignments. Second, they're graded on quizzes. There are a total of 8 quizzes included in this course, and here's what the quiz looks like. The top part of the quiz is their vocabulary words, because they learn 23 college level vocabulary words in the course. So they have a multiple choice vocab, then sometimes there's true false, and there's usually a short answer section. And again, the answer key has all of the answers for the quizzes on there too. So they have 8 quizzes, they have completed assignments, and they also have written 6 essays for this course. Now, one important note is that for each of the 6 essays they learn, I include a sample essay so that your student has an example in their workbook of what an A essay looks like. So you can see the example from this one. It's titled The Lord and the Slave. All of the sample essays are also written in MLA formatting, which your student learns in this course. So the way that I believe is really effective is for the student to evaluate himself or herself first. So I've got a rubric designed for each of the types of essays, and it's a line item rubric, and your student has a column, and then you as the teacher have a column. And for each line item, you decide whether they have earned a point ranking of a 1 or a 4. So if your student has a clearly defined thesis, the student might see it and say, yes, my thesis is awesome. I'm going to give myself a 4. And when you go to read the essay, you might agree, yes, that's a very good, clearly defined thesis. I also give it a 4. Well, perhaps down in MLA formatting, your student says, oh, I have perfect MLA formatting. I'm going to give myself a 4. But when you look at the typewritten essay, you see that the font is in 18-point font. It's huge. And they used several different kinds of fonts. And you know, because there's samples in here and because I taught it, that that's not very good MLA formatting. So you might have a level of ranking of a 2 or a 1. Whenever there's a discrepancy in the points, you can have a discussion with your student, and you can talk about what was missed and what was right on. And if there's a concept on here that maybe you don't feel comfortable with, perhaps it's using powerful verbs, for example, then that's something that's very easy to Google or go to YouTube and just use the words, how to use powerful verbs in writing. It's very easy to figure out how to improve areas when you can just Google it. So you could put comments on this page if you'd like to also, but it's a very, very simple method for you to grade, just ranking a 1 out of 4. And it's a very good activity for your student to rank themselves also. So those are basically the ways that the student is graded. And at the very end of the course, we spend a class session studying for the final test. And so that's the last grade that your student will get in the class is a final test. And it has two halves. The first half looks like a giant quiz. And then the second half is actually a timed essay test. And I completely explain the strategies for taking timed essay tests so that by the time your student is taking your ACT or SAT, he or she has already had a lot of practice taking a timed test and knows the strategies and can do it successfully. That is how to grade your students for PowerHouse Writing High School.